Near-term expenses should come from assets or income sources with the least amount of risk and volatility. Let me give you an analogy. If you came to me and said, hey, Eric, I want to buy a new car. It's going to cost me $50,000 and I want to buy it next month. Here's the $50,000. I want you to do something with it so that maybe we could grow it. I take that money, I invest it in the market proceeds to drop 20%. Now you've lost $10,000, you only have 40 left, and you can't even buy the car. So it kind of highlights the principle that an expense that's going to happen in the near term, that money should not be invested in the volatile market. It should be either kept in cash or maybe money market fund, a cash-like instrument. The point is, if we were to invest it with any amount of risk that could result in you not being able to meet the near-term expense, then that's probably an inappropriate place to put the money. So near-term expenses are going to come from the least risky assets. So when I think about a structured income plan, the word structure really does matter, that we have a methodology for creating your income in retirement. On the other side of the coin, though, in order to determine how much income you need in any given year, we have to know what your expenses are. So we like to keep it simple and divide your expenses into two components. The first one are your core expenses, and then we have your discretionary expenses. Combined together, this is your total expenses. Core expenses are things like housing, everything it takes to keep your home running, utilities, garbage, mortgage, homeowners insurance, for example. Then we have automobile. You have to be able to get to work or go to where you need to go. Third, healthcare. Your insurances, your healthcare in particular insurance, and your ability to meet your medical needs. Those are core, and we never want to forget food, right? Food is a part of this. So housing, healthcare, and sustenance, those are what we're covering in your core. That doesn't mean that you don't spend money on the discretionary pieces. It gives us, though, a set of guardrails on where we want to initially focus when it comes to guaranteed income streams. When we think about what that structure looks like, we have to understand the types of assets you have by risk and by taxability. And we're also looking at other guaranteed sources of income because they matter and they're a part of this structured plan. For example, we're looking at pensions, Social Security as two primary sources of income for many people, and they're guaranteed. So those are part of the structured income plan. So if your Social Security and maybe a pension, if you're lucky enough to have one, are not enough, now we're looking at another layer of income generation. Maybe it's a guaranteed income annuity. Maybe it's taking free withdrawals from an annuity that allows for that. But the key thing is that any annuity components that might be added to this fall under certain guarantees that are exempt from market volatility that could otherwise create other types of retirement risks. When I think about assets in an ascending or increasing risk profile, I'll start with your bank account. Your bank account is where the money comes from to pay the bills on a monthly basis. No risk as far as market is concerned. There may be some inflationary risk because things get more expensive, but for next month's bills, the safest place to have that money is probably in your checking account. Then how do we continue to fund your monthly expenses? That's by going to the money market fund. We're earning some yield. It's sitting in your brokerage account, but because our brokerage accounts that we're managing for you are connected to your bank account, that's now going to be the monthly source of income for you ongoing for the next year. That money market fund is going to be populated with roughly 1 year's worth of assets that you need to supplement your Social Security and maybe a pension if you have that. So now you'll know that you comfortably have the money you need to live for an entire year already covered by guaranteed sources of income and money market fund. The next source of income is going to be your indexed annuity sources. We have two different methods here. One is to create a guaranteed income stream from an income rider, if you will, or an income producing fixed indexed annuity. The other one is using what we call a growth fixed indexed annuity. Those annuities allow us to get some level of crediting based on market performance, but the key here is we can take 10% out of those accounts every single year to refill the money market fund bucket so that the assets you're drawing from for your near-term expenses are coming from assets that can't lose value due to market performance. Then finally, we have the Schwab brokerage accounts or wherever your brokerage accounts are held. These brokerage accounts are going to be the highest risk. They're invested in the stock and bond market. They can have volatility associated with them. They could have sequence of return risk associated with them. But if we've structured your income appropriately, you only need to dig into that bucket if you don't have enough to cover your expenses from those other lower risk tools. So it doesn't mean you can't access it, but it gives you now the sense of security that your core expenses are covered by guaranteed sources of income, because now you don't have to worry about market volatility as much because you're secure in the fact that the majority of your near-term expenses are covered by guaranteed sources. And because of that, you may be willing to take slightly higher risk inside of your brokerage account, not too much risk, not undue risk. We would use tools to verify your personal risk profile against the combined risk of all of these tools. But many people find out that they can invest slightly more aggressively because of this confidence that is built knowing that their near-term expenses are completely covered from guaranteed sources. So when I think about the potential positive outcomes of a structured retirement plan is, number one, it gives you information and confidence. Now you're informed. You know where your money is coming from every single year. It's not a guessing game. It's not based on whether the market did well or not. It's guaranteed based on the sources that we've discussed. I believe that is literally the highest potential outcome we can create, is where you have confidence and you can do the things you want to do in retirement. The other outcome is, as I mentioned before, higher confidence in your income sources, which may allow you to take slightly higher risk in your brokerage accounts, could result in higher returns. And those potential higher returns, depending on how long those assets are percolating in those brokerage accounts, could result in higher estate value and passing on of assets as a legacy to your beneficiaries. I think that those things combined simply create a set of outcomes that not only make you feel good about your retirement, but it also could magnify the benefit to the next generation. So your first step is really to sit down with us. Let's talk about your current positioning, do a thorough discovery, understand your goals and your concerns. And that may sound like you've heard that before. Everybody wants to know my goals and concerns. The reality is, if that discovery meeting is done well, and we truly allow you to think about what is on your mind and turn inward for a while, and then you can allow me to kind of enter into your world to truly know what's on your mind, that's where the power of a plan can be created. We need to truly understand what's on your mind and what your goals and concerns are. And when we do that, we can then create the structured income plan as a part of your full retirement plan. And that's really the entry into a whole new world of retirement confidence that many people feel they're lacking.